In today's video, I'm not only going to be decorating the front of my card, but also the inside of my card. Hi everyone, I'm Mindy Eggen and welcome to my channel. I would love it if you subscribed, liked this video, and shared it with your friends. Now, I won't be using this set today in my video, but I did want to share with you the Flurry of Fun card kit from Gina K Designs, which is always jam-packed with products. And this is her Christmas bundle, so if you're looking at getting a head start on your Christmas cards, this set is perfect for it. I will be sharing some card projects a little later on this week featuring the kit. But for today's video, I'm going to be using Under the Mistletoe, which right now is the free stamp set that you can receive with a $75 purchase or more from the Gina K Designs website. So I really loved this mistletoe image. It has a very whimsical feel to it. I'm going to stamp it in the Obsidian ink from Gina K Designs and stamping it onto Neenah's Solar White cardstock that is 80 pound. The Obsidian ink is waterproof, bleed proof, everything proof, so you can use your watercolors with it. You can use your alcohol markers. I'm going to stamp it twice to make sure I'm getting a really good impression. And if you have a more smooth cardstock, you're going to want to maybe hit it with your heat tool to dry the ink. Now that I have that stamped out, I'm going to use my Copic markers to color in the image. So I started with some greens, which I will have up there at the top. I'm going to put the darkest color, which is the G28, towards the part of the leaf that is facing more towards the inside or towards the center. And then I'm going to blend out with the remaining colors. Now I do have a really light, it's almost like a yellowish green, which is YG00. And I'm only adding a sliver of that color to the very outer edges of the leaves, just to give it kind of a highlight or a glow. Now, even though I am using 4 colors to color in my leaves, you definitely don't have to use that many. You could go down to 3 or even 2 to get some shading just to add a little dimension to those leaves. Now for the bow, I did pick out 3 colors, but I only ended up using 2 because reds can be pretty tricky, or I like to say temperamental. They tend to kind of bleed out a little bit more. So for this one, I believe I used an R39 to add some shadow areas. And then I just filled in the rest of that with an R35 just so I didn't risk bleeding outside the lines. Now, I also love that Gina K is coming out with these coordinating dies. So the stamp set you can earn for free right now at the time of this video, but you can also go in and pick up this coordinating die to die cut out your image, which I always love. I'm going to create a focal point with this Princess Circle die. It is a beautiful image, lots of little pieces to kind of poke out, but I'm going to die cut it from some matte gold cardstock. Now, a lot of times I will literally drop the die onto my glass work surface to kind of help get all of those pieces out, or use my craft pick and pick out the rest. I found a circle die in my stash. I believe it was from Master Layouts 12, and that fit perfectly in the center of that because I wanted to have the white behind there and on top of my gold piece. So that's going to create a great focal point. Now, there are also 2 great sentiment stamp sets available in this release. There's the Festive Phrases, which have coordinating dies, and then there's On the Inside Christmas Edition. Now, this is fantastic because I know everybody always asks, what do you put in the inside of your card? Well, Gina has made it super easy for you. She's got this whole 6x8 stamp set filled with Christmas greetings. The other great thing is you can use these on the front of your card or in the inside of your card. Now, before I do any sentiment stamping, I did go ahead and die cut out that Princess Circle one more time from some white cardstock, and I'm going to layer it together. I added tape runner to the center because it was a large area, and then I added dots of glue around the very outer edges. Then I'm just going to take my tweezers, line those 2 together, and let that sit so the glue secures down. Now for my white circle, I'm adding some of these white foam squares to the back of that. And I'm also going to come in and add a little bit of that liquid glue to the back of my foam squares because I was a little nervous if I was going to get lined up right away because it just fits in within that detailed line that's on that gold. So by adding the liquid glue to my foam square, it gives me a little bit of wiggle room to make sure I have that centered. Now that focal point would look great on colored cardstock, but I wanted to use white, and I'm going to add a little bit of texture to that using the Swiss Dots embossing folder. So I'm just going along with the guidelines on my Spellbinders Platinum 6 die cut machine. It tells you the sandwich you need to run that through and emboss your cardstock. I am just using the layering weight white from Gina K Designs. Now, of course, I could add a sentiment to the front of this, but I really loved how this was looking, the simplicity of that beautiful design. So I decided to not add anything to the front for a sentiment and do it to the inside of my card. I have a top folding card base, and I'm using this mistletoe. Now, full disclosure, I wanted this to be kind of more of a subtle image using skeleton leaves, which is a really, really light kind of tan-ish colored ink. But when I stamped it down, I apparently did not clean my stamp set very good. So I had a lot of black in there. So I just said, heck with it. I went ahead and stamped it in the Obsidian ink. Now my plan was to have that in a light color ink and then stamp the sentiment over the top. But of course, I couldn't do that now. So I'm placing the sentiment underneath the mistletoe. Both of those kind of thoughts or designs would work great for this. So I am going to rub my hand over that stamp set because it's brand new, so I want to condition it. And then I'm going to ink up the sentiment with that Obsidian ink as well. Now my inside is done and I can start adhering my card together. So I have that top folding card base. I'm adding a tape runner all along the very outer edge on the back of my embossed panel here that I did with the embossing folder, and then also to the center of it. That way nothing is going to kind of curl up or peel up on me. I'm going to add some white foam squares to the center of my focal point and place that over the top, right kind of top center. And then I'm going to be taking my mistletoe, which I have die cut here, and I'm adding a little bit of liquid glue to the back of that. Grab my tweezers once again. Of course, you all know that is my absolute go-to tool. And I'm going to place that right in the center of, I like to call this my medallion. Now I have one last finishing touch, and that was going to be adding some Stardust Stickles to those white areas that I left uncolored. So I added a little bit of glitter to those. So that will finish up my card project where I have this beautiful stamped greeting in the inside and that great front cover to the front of my card. All of the supplies used today will be listed down below in the video description and over on my blog, and I will be sharing more inspiration from the September release from Gina K Designs very, very soon. So I hope you'll join me. Thank you so much for stopping by, and see you soon.